This is my first Father's Day as a granddad. And I do it really good. And it's actually 30 years ago this year that my dad passed away. And so it's just really interesting. I was sharing with somebody earlier. It's just curious because usually the day before Father's Day, I kind of wrestle with like the loss, the emotion, and some guys say, well, you get over it. Well, not really. You just do it different. But I realized yesterday I'm not as sad as I usually am on Father's Day. And then I realized, because I'm a grandpa. Yeah, that's why. So anyway, God's plan is just incredible. And so I love the fact that Tim Allen, you guys know who Tim Allen is, right? That he refers to God as the builder. I like that. Because here's the deal, and this is what's important for us today. God is in the business of building better men. And here's what I know about this crowd right now, especially men. I'm going to talk to men. This is Father's Day. We're just going to do it this way, right? Is that there's not a man in this room that doesn't want to be a better man. Every guy, right? It's true. We just want to be a better man. Now, so how to do that is kind of tough. And that's why I want to kind of recognize God as the builder of good men. Isn't that a great idea? And so now with Father's Day, there's some interesting stuff here. I just want to share this. Sometimes dads say just dumb stuff, right? And dads are famous for saying dumb stuff. So I got the top 10 dad sayings. You like that? Top 10 dad sayings. You guys will probably relate to a lot of this. You ready? Number 10. When I was your age. You guys remember that one? Number 9. A little bit of dirt never hurt anyone. Number 8. Go ask your mom. It's classic, right? Number 7. Were you raised in a barn? Number 6. You don't know what hard work is. You guys heard this all your life, didn't you? Number 5. It builds character. That's when they want you to do the crummy job. Number 4. Don't make me stop this car. I love it. Number 3. You're grounded till you're 30. You know the reason that you weren't grounded till you were 30? Because your dad couldn't take you being grounded. It's too hard for him. Number 2. Money doesn't go on trees, And number 1. Because I said so. Isn't that great? So dads say this kind of stuff, right? So congratulations to all the dad. Now, all right, so here's the deal. In order for us to become men, God builds men from boys. And I'm going to kind of reference this a little bit. So David became the king of Israel. So David starts out as the shepherd boy in the field, and God's plan is to get him to the throne as king. So that process. So here's the deal. The plan is laid out in a moment, but the man is made in a lifetime. The plan is laid out in a moment, but the man is made in a lifetime. That's tough. And so here's what I want to kind of talk to, especially the guys today, is sometimes becoming a man is kind of scary. And the reason it's kind of scary, here's what I want you to get, is that we can no longer be the boy, but we're not sure that we actually know how to be the man. And I just want everybody to know that becoming a man, and every guy knows this, chances of failure are huge. And men hate to fail. So it's kind of a scary thing. That's why we want to talk about building better men. That's the whole idea today. Now, raising girls and raising boys, of course, is just so different. So different. So we want our girls to be feminine yet strong. And we want our boys to be masculine but not be a jerk. True story? And you can kind of tell how a kid was raised just by kind of watching them play. So girls that are raised feminine, they do dress up and they have tea parties and they play house. And so boys, on the other hand, they make forts, they play war, and everything is a competition. Everything is a competition. I can pee farther than you. I'm even that kind of stuff, right? And that's boys. So for the girls, she's queen of the house, and the boys is king of the hill. Right? So here's where we're going with this idea, right? Now, so here's the deal, is the typical man feels compelled to get to the top of the hill, to get to the top of the pile, to be the best. And so every man strives to accomplish and be and do and that kind of stuff. Every man just does that. It's just in the DNA. That's how we're wired. So every man strives to get to the top of the hill. Now here's the problem. He's not always sure what's at the top of the hill, but he strives to get there anyway. And what oftentimes men discover is when we accomplish what we want to accomplish, or we get to where we want to get, or things start to work out pretty good, sometimes what happens is it comes up empty. Right? It's like, wow, it's not what I thought it was. It didn't bring the fulfillment, and it's not as much fun as I thought it would be, that kind of stuff. And so it's what the King Solomon referred to as vanity. And the word vanity literally means empty. Because Solomon did all this kind of stuff, and he said when he found out that it was empty, it just didn't produce anything. So a good man knows who the king of the hill is, and he knows who the builder is. And so allowing God that purpose, allowing God to do that, sometimes that's kind of difficult, right? So now here's the deal. Anybody can compete. Anybody can build a fort. Anybody can do the kind of stuff that everybody tells you makes you a man. See, sometimes I think what we try to convince guys is manly. It's not really manly. Think about this. It's not, okay, so wow, you're a man, so you punch somebody in the head, that makes you a man. No, it just makes you an inmate. It doesn't work that way, right? And so becoming a man is really kind of a difficult thing. And so we think about it. So anybody can do that. Everybody say anybody. And so here's the deal. I don't know about you. Well, matter of fact, I think I do know about you. We don't want to be just any man. We want to be the man that God wants us to be. Every man in this room wants to be a better man. And if God's the builder, what that means is we need to allow God to build himself in us. Now here's the deal, is when we don't allow God to do that kind of work, we get ourselves in trouble. And we become like any other man, but we don't want to be like any other man. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to Judges chapter 6. The book of Judges chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 15. Judges chapter 6, verse 15. And we're going to read through this, and I just want you to get this. You don't have to do any feedback, just kind of pay attention. You ready? Are you ready? This is Samson's story. And Samson has a girlfriend. Samson has a girlfriend. And Samson loves this girl. You know, sometimes when boys love girls, they do dumb stuff. Okay? So Samson loves this girl. So here's the way this plays out. Verse 15. Then she, Delilah, told him, how can you say I love you when you won't confide in me? You guys been here. So remember, no commentary. Just kind of work with this, right? This is the third time you have made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength. Verse 16. Then with such nagging, she... You know, this is the second. I've tried not to pause there. It's just so hard. So I'm going to start over. Okay? Verse 17. No, verse 16. With such nagging, she prodded him day after day until he was tired to death. That's like my favorite scripture in the whole Bible. It's Father's Day. Cut me some slack. I don't get away with this hardly ever. Matter of fact, what you don't know is I'm not getting away with it now. I got to go home. This is my moment, okay? So, could you humor me just a minute? I'm going to read it again. This time with dramatic flair. Just 'cause, okay? Now, don't take this personal. This is about Samson. It's not about you. Verse 16. With such nagging, she prodded him day after day. until he was tired to death. You like the dramatic, you know? Okay. So, are we ready to move on? You want me to read again? How much mileage can we get out of this, right? Don't you just love the Bible? It's awesome. Verse 17. I'm going to keep going here. Verse 17. So he told her everything. No razor has ever been used on my head. He said, because I've been a Nazarite set apart to God since birth, if my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man. Now listen, his strength wasn't in his hair. His strength was in where he put his heart. Listen, gentlemen, whatever we put our heart into, that becomes our master. And whatever we put our heart into, that owns our strength. Are you still with me? And again, ladies, it goes the same for you. Whatever you put your heart into, all of your strength goes into that. That makes sense, right? Okay, so here's the deal. The problem is Samson gave his heart away to something or someone that couldn't give life back. And so when we give our heart to something that can't give life back, what happens is we become prey to our enemies. That's how it stole his weakness. So I think it's a really big deal that we allow God to build a man. So here's the deal is when we're going through life and we want to become that man or become that dad or become the man that we want us to be, we have to remember the role is no big deal, but the goal is more important than the role. The goal is more important than the role. So this brings me to this. So every man in this room knows sometimes you got to go through stuff. Everybody say stuff. You guys know what stuff is? Sometimes you got to work hard. Sometimes you got to get dirty. Sometimes you sweat. Sometimes you're last in line. Sometimes they talk about you. Sometimes you hear rumors. See, every once in a while you got to go through stuff, but that's just the role. But understand this, that the goal is more important than the role. So here's the deal. So if we're good men, we need to ask ourselves some good questions. Here's the good question. Do you know what you're building and why you're building it? Do you know what you're building and why you're building it? Or a better way to put it maybe is, do you know what's driving you? What's the point? So if you accomplish what you want to accomplish, if you get where you want to get, if the things come to you that you're striving for, what will that accomplish in your life? That's a really good question. Because whatever is driving you or how you are driven, that determines what the reward is. So it's really important that we ask ourselves, what's driving me? So what's important? What am I trying to accomplish? So if I get that house, what will that do for me? Will that make you a better man? Probably not. Just got to mow a bigger lawn. But you see what I'm saying? So the goal is more important than the role. So what is your goal? What's the point? If you're able to build that house, what would this say about you as a man? That's really important. So basically, there's four ways that people are driven, or four types of things that we allow to drive us. Okay, so number one, some people are driven by what happens to them. Something happens and they respond. Something else happens and they respond. So they're always back and forth like the human pinball machine. You guys know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, Finding Dory come out at a perfect time. Ooh, you know. And so what happens is they're always going back and forth. Now, here's the problem. If you're driven by what happens to you, your life is basically a series of storms that you go through. And you respond to the storm. So remember that the goal is more important than the rest. So what happens is, here's God's plan for your life. Here's how God makes you a better man. When the stuff happens to you, don't let it change the plan. Don't get off course. Stick with it. The second thing that drives people is some people are driven by the influence of the world around them. Kind of like the chameleon. They just kind of adapt and grow and just do this kind of stuff. So whatever's popular, whatever's there, you know, oh, I like the shiny stuff. And if somebody else got a new car, I got to get a new car. You know what I'm talking about? So people that are driven by that, everything that happens, they keep changing. They kind of roll with the times kind of thing. But see, the problem is when that happens, we're answering all the wrong questions. For instance, I'm just going to throw this out here. The solution for all the shootings is they want to say that if we take away the guns, that'll solve the problem. Now, I'm not, this isn't a political thing. This is what I want you to get. They're asking the wrong question. The wrong question isn't what happened. The wrong question is what happened. The right question is, how do we keep it from happening again? So, will your solution actually solve the problem? Or are you just reacting to what happened? You see what I'm saying? So in life, we have to ask ourselves that question. So with how we're responding and what we do, will it actually fix the problem? Can I make this a little bit more real, you guys? You guys ready? Let's just say that there's a family that you are aware of and close to that has a big argument. Let's just say. Let's just say. And so your solution is, fine, I'll show them. The good question is, will your solution fix the problem? My guess is your solution might make another problem. Okay? So people that are driven by the environment that they're in often find themselves in deeper stuff, right? The third way that people respond, and again, we're just moving quickly, some people are driven by nonconformity. Now, what this means is some people think that my goal is to be different, and I'm not going to be like everybody else, and I'm my own man. I'm going to do my own thing, and nobody's going to tell me what to do, and I'm going to push. So I'll just be I'm the maverick, and I'm the lone wolf. Ow, that's just fun to do, right? And it's funny, people say, man, I was born to be wild, and when you get older, it's I was born to be mild. But see, here's the problem. When you have to go it alone, your own man, don't want to conform, this kind of stuff, it might seem romantic and popular. Oh, you're just really cool. But what happens is you end up becoming an isolated soul. When you become an isolated soul, here's what maybe you haven't saw in front of you. When you become that isolated soul, now when you go through difficult times, now when relationships are in trouble, now when emotionally you can't kind of pull it together, now when you're out there by yourself, you get so far out there. When you call out for help, you're so far out in the deep, you drown relationally, you drown spiritually, because there's nobody around to help you. Matter of fact, Solomon even said it this way: if a man falls down and he's got a friend that is close to him, he's got somebody that will help pick him up. But if he falls alone, that man is in big trouble. So how about if we have something else that drives us? See, the wisest people are driven by purpose. Or to put this another way, ask yourself, what am I building? And why am I building this? Ask yourself, with the life that you're building, if you get there, is that really what I want? Is that really the goal? Is that really what I want God to do for me? So the wisest people are driven when their lives are given their purpose. So what are you building? Now here's the deal: is oftentimes what happens when we don't discover this stuff, like I said, that becoming a man thing sometimes is scary. Ladies, I want you to realize this too, that becoming a man sometimes is scary, because sometimes it's a lot harder than we thought it was going to be. And that's why I think a lot of guys get stuck in adolescence, where they don't grow up. See, because when we're young, check this out, when we're young, life is kind of like automatic. You open the fridge, hey, cool, there's something to drink. Food just appears on the dinner table, right? Clothes show up in your closet. Laundry's magically done. The house somehow cleans itself, right? When you're young, that's how it works. How many moms know what I'm talking about? You just show up, it's like, oh, matter of fact, if it's not there, you turn around and say, hey, where's the Pepsi? It's true, huh? Mom, we're out of milk. I just bought a gallon this morning. What happened? I don't know. And when you get older, you realize when you go to the fridge, there might not be much in there. It might be Shasta instead of Pepsi. One of these days, I got to do the laundry. Anybody know where the rake is? I got to clean the house. It's not so automatic. It doesn't happen that way. Now, here's what I thought about. Some of you guys say, well, I've never had to go through that. Well, that's because you went from your mama's house to your mama's house. Just thought I'd throw that in there. And so it's a lot harder sometimes than what we thought. And that's why it's so important, if God is going to build the man, that we have to know what's important. We got to know why we're doing what we're doing, what the goal is, what's the point. So when we mature, that's it. So now here's the deal. Those that are driven by whatever happens around them, by the storms, they'll never be able to catch up. Those that are driven by the influence of the world around them, just the chameleon kind of stuff, they'll never measure up. Those people that are driven by the nonconformity, they'll find out that they can't keep up at all. But see, those that are driven by purpose, this is the most important part of the day. They know to reach up. Listen, here's what I'm saying. This is Father's Day. You can't become the man that you want to be. You can't become the person that you want to be without reaching up. It's impossible. You need to reach up in two ways. Of course, you need to reach up to God, because how many of you guys know you need God's help? We've already seen what happens when you're in charge. Yeah, that worked out real well, didn't it? You need to be able to reach up to God because we need God's help. And we have to reach up to him, say, God, pull me up out of this mess that I'm in. God, help lift me to a higher level. But see, here's the thing. You also need other men around you. You'd be able to reach up to find somebody that's just a little bit ahead. One step up. That makes sense? Now, I talk to guys all the time and say, you know what? I want to hang out with guys that are just like me. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said. You know what happens if you hang out with guys that are just like you? Nothing. Nothing changes. You stay the same guy. I like hanging with my buddies because, well, we know each other. We like all the same stuff. You immature little twerp. Come on. See, here's the deal. The wisest thing you can do is find somebody you can reach up to. Ladies, same thing. Find somebody you can reach up to. Find somebody that's going to help you. Find somebody that's going to stand along. Don't find somebody to agree with you. What a dumb idea. I'm having trouble in my marriage, so I'm going to go find somebody who's got a good marriage. I'm having trouble in my finances. I'm going to find somebody who's good at finances. I'm having trouble raising my kids, and I want to strangle my 12-year-old. What am I going to do? Find somebody that didn't strangle the 12-year-old. Find somebody you can reach up, and so what happens is that person's grab a hold of you and pull you up to another level. My friends, here's what you and I need in order to become the better man, in order to become the better woman. We need to have a God that we can reach up to that'll pull us up out of that, but we also need people in our lives that'll grab a hold and say, hey, let me help you step up a little bit higher. Let me help you be the better person. Let me help you be the better man. That's God's plan. God is the builder, and he's put all of these great tools in front of you. Don't try to go it alone. That's insane. Turn to somebody, tell them, I want to be a better man. Now, if you're a girl, that just sounds funny. Don't say that. Can I give you a statement I want you to hang on to? We come to the place in life where we got to put away our toys and pick up our tools. Put away your toys and pick up your tools. And when I say that, the guys say, oh, you mean I can't have any fun anymore? Here's what you don't understand. You'll have more fun you've ever had in your whole life. It'll be so awesome. You know what one of the most energizing, cool things ever is? Watching somebody that you help do better. Yeah, that's awesome. I think, gentlemen, God wants to build you to be a better man. Not that you're that messed up. You could be. Probably. Yeah, okay. But really. And I think God has surrounded you with good men. I think God has given you a good family. I think God has given you a great church where you can reach up and just grab a hold of you and they just pull you up. What a relief it's going to be when you don't have that thing hanging on your back anymore. You guys know what I'm talking about? What a relief it's going to be when you can get those thoughts out of your head. What a relief it's going to be when you don't have that thing dogging your steps and you don't fall for the same stuff and you don't make the same mistakes. How are you going to do that? You reach up, somebody's going to grab you by the hand and pull you up to another level. Because you, my friend, are a good man. Really, gentlemen? There's probably been people that have been dogging you your whole life and telling you what you can't do and what you're not and the failures, all this kind of stuff. And I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but you're here today. You're here at New Life Center. You're in God's house on Father's Day. You are a really good man. Really good man. Let me just throw this out there. I want to give a huge shout out to the stepdads. You guys are amazing. There is something incredible about a man that will love kids that are not his own as if they were his own. You guys are the best, man. You are awesome. Another big shout out to the moms that are doing double duty. Happy Father's Day to you guys. Can I just give you a little piece of advice for the single moms? Don't make him a sissy lala. I mean, really. Oh, poor baby, don't do that. Don't do that. I'll give you a copy of my dad's sayings. You can use them. Yeah. In fact, I wish there was one more because my dad used to say, walk it off, boy, walk it off. But Dad, I got a rib hanging out my back pocket. Walk it off. You'll be okay. Way to go, guys. You stayed, you're here, and you love God. Those are the tools God can use to make you the best man ever. Are you going to make mistakes? Oh, God, yes. Some will be glorious. Will people point them out? Every day, dude, every day. Will I be embarrassed? I hope so. But God is building you to be a better man. So, let's just finish with this, right? Most of you are aware of Columbus Day, right? Sailed in small ships, had no idea where he was going. What you might not know is that the inspiration for his journey was from Isaiah chapter 40, where he read that scripture that said that he sits on the circle of the earth. Now, Isaiah chapter 40 was written 2,000 years before Columbus was born. But he read that and said, you know what? I think God might be right. True story. So that journey took them months, just absolute months. They were short on supplies, gone through terrible storms. The ships were falling apart. They had no idea where they were going. He listened to threats of mutiny on a daily basis. But Columbus would open up his logbook every morning and he would write these words. He'd begin with these words. Today, we sailed west. Today, we sailed west. Some of you might be thinking, I don't know if I'll ever get there. Today, we sailed west. And tomorrow, we sail west. And the next day, we sail west. And next week, we sail west. Well, how long are we going to do that? Till we get there. Because we're going to get there. You're going to get there. You're going to become the man that God wants you to be. You're going to be the better man that God has planned for your life. See, because maybe what I know that you don't know, God builds the best men from broken men. That's what builds the best guys out of. I'd rather have somebody standing beside me that has been wounded in battle than somebody that has never seen battle. God builds the best men out of wounded men. And I think that I'm looking around this room today, I'm thinking, you know what? You've taken some blows. You got some scars that you're going to show me. You got some stuff that has happened. You don't let that push you back from the battle. Let God keep building you. Let God keep doing that in you. Let God do what only God can do, because God is in the business of building better men, and that is you and me, buddy. That's what he's doing. And then when we allow God to make us the better men, we take these boys and we make them great men. That's the power of God. Could I get you to bow your heads and close your eyes for just a moment, please? While every head's bowed, everybody's eyes are closed here for just a moment. The prayer partners are coming up here. Here's the deal. I wonder if anybody here today has been wrestling with a failure in your life. Say, you know what, I blew it, man. I don't know how to get myself back on track. If that's you, just raise your hand and put it right back down. Say, Pastor Dave, that's me, man. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody make a decision or say something or do something you wish you could take back and say, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I wish I could go back and redo that. If that's you, come on. Let me see your hand right now, fast. Come on. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody feeling like you're blowing it? And today is just a really hard day because you're just like, you know what? I haven't done those things. Today's your fresh start, man. If I'm talking to you right now, just let me see your hands. That's me, Pastor Dave. I need another start. I need a new beginning. Thank you, guys. Thank you. One last thing. If you feel like you've disappointed God and you think God is mad at you, nobody's looking around. Just show me your hand. Say, that's me, man. I'm struggling, man. It's hard. You know what I want to tell you today, guys? You're a good man. Really, you're a good man. It doesn't matter if nobody else tells you. I'm telling you, you're a good man. And God sees incredible potential in you. Could y'all stand to your feet, please, this morning? What a cool day, Father's Day, isn't it? The secret to being a great dad is not DNA. And I'm going to say this in a crude way, so just kind of brace yourself. Being a dad is way more than being a donor. Being a dad is not DNA. Being a dad is presence. Being there, being the guy. And you're here. Way to go, man. Way to go. Maybe just some advice. Had a guy ask me last week, he said, are you my spiritual dad? I said, yeah, me and all my ugly kids, yeah. But let me give you some maybe fatherly advice. Don't try to make up for lost time. Don't do it. Because it's a lopsided equation. So what do? Just be that guy now. Just be that guy now. Be that dad now. Be that man now. Don't try to make up for it. That time's gone. Start today. God has given you this day. God has given you this future. Live in this moment. And I think you'll see great results. Okay? Happy Father's Day, guys. You're awesome. You're awesome. The builder has got you, man. The builder's got you. And when you mess up, just turn to somebody, just give them that grin and say, God's still working on me. Right? Still working on me. You know, there's days, I know that this probably don't happen to everybody, but there's days when I don't make the people that I'm supposed to make happy. I'm just going to kind of leave that right there. God's still got work to do, right? Okay? So our prayer partners are up here. If we've kind of addressed some issues in you today, I'm going to encourage you to pray. You'll be amazed at what it does. So join with the prayer partners to pray. Other than that, I just want to celebrate you guys as the best guys in the whole world. You're the best. You ready? Let's pray.